Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Tabbed Out Wrestling Podcast, Georgia Indy Talk segment.
Yes,
Man,
the Easter Bunny came and he left me with more diabetes. I had to buy my own damn candy though. I didn't get a basket. Mm.
yeah, too old for
Uh,
the basket thing, man. I don't do that anymore, especially because of this crazy diet we're on. So there's no sugar, there was
yeah,
no candy. So, but man, it did slow down the activity in Georgia, this week. Although a couple of the heavy hitters did run.
yep,
So, I
yep,
mean, it was crazy. Not a lot of shows, but two really good shows did run.
yes.
Um, uh, you
I,
know, listen, let's full disclosure here. We did not get out. I mean, you worked.
I
Um,
worked and was sick, and
yeah,
so after work, I was like, I can't do it. I just got to go home.
I had to run like
Um,
a complete triple header of Easter events between the whole weekend. Listen, blended families with multiple branches and all kinds of yeah, it's just a nightmare for the holidays. No matter what holiday is, I always tell people like, look, don't plan shit on holiday weekends because I'm booked. I
yeah,
can't pull things off on those weekends. But listen, so of course, what is Southern Fried, one of our favorite promotions in the
yeah,
state,
man.
they run.
I've been watching the video on YouTube of that show. I tell you what, man, that Madhouse match. I, I, what the hell? You know, it was crazy. You had confetti and you had balloons and basketball and Bill Barron's getting killed and uh, the Razor Ramon tribute was awesome, very touching
Yeah,
for Dylan to get to do that and Sal come out with him. But that happened in the middle of the damn match.
like like so. By the way, kudos. Thank you to Adam for getting that video up so fast,
Yeah,
so we got to
he does
check it
such a
out
good job with
before.
that.
Yeah. Total chaos, man. That match was
Yeah,
total absolute chaos, and when I mean that, I mean the match, the post match, like everything, like you said, with Bill getting power slammed off of the
yeah,
second rope and just the brawl that ensued with everybody post match and all out into the crowd and the chaos. Listen, that's Southern Fried strength.
yes,
It was funny because I one of my favorite podcasts to listen to is Jeff Jarrett. My
mm,
World with Jeff Jarrett, and they talk about like when things happen. Sometimes Conrad will go, "That is so Memphis." Like the concession stand brawls and things like that. And it's funny because now it's like there are moments, when Todd books that's what comes to my head. As
yeah,
I always say, it's like that's so Memphis, but you're like that's so Todd.
yeah,
That's so Southern Fried.
yeah.
That it's funny. But like the brawls out into the crowd, into the bleachers, and like Southern Fried does that. Like that's kind of like their calling card at this point with those
I
crazy
love,
matches.
I love the show. I can't. I think I'm off for the next one, so I can't wait. Coming back soon in May. I don't think uh, anybody's got any big shows until May. And that might be a Southern Fried Southern Honor weekend, the way
Could
it
be,
looks.
could be, yeah.
So that's going to be nuts. What the hell happened to David Ali as champion?
It,
He wins a non-title match versus Todd,
yeah, it was musical title.
and then Hankins challenge or not Hankins Hawkins challenges him. Hawkins wins, gets the belt, but Hawkins had a match scheduled with Billy Buck.
Which then Barons forced. This was obviously prior to the Madhouse match that
Yep.
Barons not only made him have because he was already scheduled for a match, and then he made it a title match. So then Buck ends up winning the belt. So Buck goes home with the gold for the Southern Fried Championship.
Didn't see that at all.
Hot
Never saw
tater,
that coming.
hot tater.
You know, that was a giant surprise for me. Because as I was watching through the video, you were like, "Well, Billy Buck's a champion." I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about? I just saw David Ali with the belt on." And then before it was all over, two other guys had it. So
Myron, that's so Memphis.
yes, exactly, exactly. And it was surprising. Southern Fried does the surprise better than just about anybody. Go over to the YouTube channel, Southern Fried Wrestling, Fried Championship Wrestling, and check that out. I promise you won't be disappointed in that YouTube video.
Yeah, you can check them out on Facebook, Southern Fried Wrestling, the fan club as well. I know the links are there, so if you're struggling finding it on YouTube, not that you should. By the way, you should subscribe because they put their shows there. So just saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they will be coming back in a couple weeks. So absolutely, we'll look. Obviously, we'll have more on the next show as things kind of unfold and we know what we're getting on the next show. But this past weekend also, our buddies down at Thompson, Georgia, Viral Pro Wrestling ran.
Yeah.
They kind of sent in their own report, so therefore that we kind of had a little more as far as the actual report go. We haven't seen video yet. 310 is what they're saying, so kudos to them to rebounding very well. I know a lot of people were ready to stick a fork in them after that last show. The attendance was down a little bit, but they just rebounded right back. So good, kudos to those guys. All-Star Special back in the mix. There was a big, post-match, Dawson beatdown going on, and they make the save. And, of course, I guess that clearly sets the table back for them to kind of have a rematch to, for the tag team gold there at Viral, which would be crazy if they could think about if All-Star – pause here. If All-Star can capture those titles back, they're currently the Southern Honored champions. You're tag champions at two of the bigger promotions in Georgia. Are they going for that early claim, right, for the best tag team in the state? Like, just saying.
Yeah, just saying. And that's something I'm going to talk about later on about how well these guys have put themselves over.
Yeah.
Okay.
But before we move to that, the other highlight, in my opinion, I try to highlight things on these cards now. Cruel versus Joshua Cutshaw, Monsters Ball match. Listen, Cruel, he showed up at Anarchy. We talked about that. The dude is a legit monster, and with the win, I think now you're going to start. I would do it if I was a promoter and I'm bringing him in. He's literally the monster. Like he's not a monster. He's the monster.
He's got this character down, man. That whole Cruel thing is down. Great mind for wrestling. He knows exactly what he's doing. Hated guy. Scary looking character. I would compare him to Kane, like the original Kane. Like when Kane first debuted, when he was a scary guy with the fire pyro and coming through the ring. That's what he is right now in Georgia, and I think people keep booking him like that. It's going to be a massive success for everybody.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you there.
He's
so
money.
Cutshaw takes the loss, but he does get the respect of Cruel, post match. And like I said, I think big things for Cruel, obviously moving forward down the road. They're going to be back June the 11th. Their Fallout show. That's the name of it, Fallout. And we'll obviously have video again, more breakdown of what's coming once they get that card put out as well. But I know you wanted to talk about like the multimedia, the stuff that people are doing here.
This is something that two friends of mine, Heath from the Double Drop Kick and Rob Rod from the Rod Report, had both been talking about social media, multimedia, and wrestlers, how they promote themselves. And what I've discovered is social media as a tool to promote yourself. We started seeing it when we started promoting the show on social media. That was our big thing. It's always been our big thing. For a long time, it was just on Facebook, mainly. Social media works so well with these guys. Look at Hanson and Proc. They have touted themselves on social media, made video packages, promos, okay? The Exotic Youth. These are people that are leveraging their social media with vignettes, with promos, little things like that, character stuff, small production videos, and they take that. They've got these promotions that are wanting to hire them, and then they leverage the angles on social media to make more people come to the shows. And Heath was talking about a couple of guys in the Carolinas who tried to build an angle and then get someone to book it. And it seemed like it was failing. But in Georgia, these guys have the promotions They're encouraging to do this stuff. And I think PCW and Matt Hankins have been so important to this kind of marketing because he's given these guys such a place to express themselves and act and work on their chops and get these kind of things down that it's become a breeding ground. Those guys going in through there, learning this different kind of stuff, picking his mind, being creative. Look at Hanson. Okay, he's risen to one of the major tag team wrestlers in Georgia. He's was in the main event at Hardcore Hell, and he created this character.
Yeah.
He made people love him or hate him, and he's figured it out. Croc is doing a really good job.
Yeah,
I love what these guys do.
I want to, like, you know, and I can't keep like shoveling enough praise right here on Hanson, right? Because it was just a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah.
When he was like messaging, like trying to get on and trying to, you know, just kind of get the who he was and get his name out there, sharing his videos and stuff. And they were just so damn entertaining, even at an early
Yes.
part of him getting started.
Mhm.
And I think you're right. I think Matt Hankins has a lot to do with that. I think, you know, working with lots of guys in Georgia, they're improving. Listen, I'm not a booker. I'm not a promoter. Any of that, don't claim to be. But I will tell you just from my, you know, 45 years now of watching pro wrestling, my take on it is this: like, guys that focus so much on just, I'm not saying the in-ring doesn't matter. That's not what I'm saying. You can teach a lot of guys how to work and how to get into the ring and carry on a match.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you're going to get the "this is awesome" chant for a minute.
Yeah.
And then everybody will go home and they'll forget.
Yeah.
Working on promos, working on character development. It was something, again, I heard that just struck a chord with me on, might have been on, by the way, Oh, You Didn't Know, new podcast, Brian Armstrong, Jesse James, Bebop, whatever you want to call him, the Road Dogg. And he pointed out very specifically of like, it's the stuff outside the ring. It's the stuff backstage. It's promos, character development that you connect with.
Mm-hmm.
Fans don't give a shit about after, you're a great wrestler. And I think we see that time and time again. Work on the character, work on the promo, and work on that type of stuff. And that will elevate you even faster.
This is coming as a fan's seeing it.
Sure.
I can't give you advice as like a wrestling booker or anything like that. But as a fan watching wrestling and then watching these wrestlers develop, the common thing is they're working on their outside stuff. You're wrestling, some of these shows run once a month, but you're able to keep a buzz all month long, making videos or going back and forth on social media, doing stuff where the fans can see you so they never forget you.
Right.
And if they see you on a poster, there'll be people who haven't seen you wrestle, but they'll understand, wow, I've seen that guy, so I'll go out to see him.
And it's, because that's why people, when we talk, like, we'll get into this George Indy Talk and people will have conversations with me and they're like, well, such and such is a great wrestler, but I'm like, yes, but, it's crazy that, like, the promo, like you said, that Proc Johnson will do something on a video, him and J2 Strong, when they get together and, the Southern Strong style, they'll cut a promo that just kind of makes you, it hits a nerve. It gets you, it's an emotional attachment. Hunter James, Scott Mason, for crying out loud, does some of the funniest shit on social media. Why do you love Matt Hankins? Because you see the entertaining shit he does on social media. Hanson, you've already conversated, the All-Star Special. Like I said, you go on and on and on about these guys who are doing this entertaining stuff, across the board. And that's what hits the core. That's what sticks in your brain. That's the stuff you can't, somebody can go in the ring and be the best wrestler in the state. That's great. And I can watch it, I can respect it, and I can appreciate it. But the guy who hits the chord, and if you want that proof, I always tell people, like, go into certain buildings and watch certain things. Adrian Hawkins is probably, in my opinion, one of the, the most solid base wrestlers around. Mm-hmm. He is so despised at Southern Fried. you're over as a baby almost by being put in the ring against him.
Yep.
Look at the program at Anarchy. So hated because of the extra stuff. The ring stuff is awesome, but it's the shit outside the ring that makes you hate them. Same thing goes for the Beacon and Hanson and and all those guys up there. Why does everybody love the All-Star Special? Because they're fucking characters.
Yes.
Over the top characters. The whole party, blah blah. The music and the jukebox and all that kind of stuff. That's why people love them.
Yep.
So don't and it's I think the point of, like I said, Heath brought up and Rob Rod. By the way, if you're a Georgia wrestling fan and you're watching this, and you clearly are, if you haven't subscribed to the Rob Rod Report on YouTube yet, what the hell is wrong with you? Because he tells you where all the shows are this weekend. Does a quicker recap than us just talking about it. So follow him and sign up for Heath because I know we spread out into the Carolinas. If you're in the Carolinas and that area and you're not following the Double Dropkick podcast, you should be.
And Heath is doing some things with gate receipts now. Now we don't have those in Georgia.
No.
But in South Carolina, you have to turn in your gate receipts to the athletic commission. And he's going to be breaking them down and looking at the actual ticket sales.
Yeah.
And that's fascinating to me. But then again, I'm really glad we don't have that much of an athletic commission here.
Right. There's the trade-off, right? There's the trade-off there for that. So anyways, kind of that point of, look, kudos to all the guys putting in all of the hard work. So look, I shared a podcast episode, Skrilla the Great. He's another one.
Look at that, man. That's awesome.
The raps and the videos and the whole make wrestling great again, campaign that he's doing. That's what I mean by just don't show up every Saturday and Friday. Go in there, be the best wrestler in your world. Here's the problem. You're on the Georgia indie scene. Put stuff out there. Listen, how many times have I told people, look, and I don't mean this by saying we're great now, but our first episodes were just horrible. But you have to do it. Yeah. You can't do your great promo until you do all of your bad ones in the beginning and learn from those mistakes.
Hard Times wasn't Dusty Rhodes' first promo.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So just get your work in. Keep doing the work. If it's bad, learn from that mistake, get better, and then do another one that's better. By the way, on social media, you can always go click, delete. If it's that bad and you're just realize down the road how bad it, just delete. I mean, it's okay. Get better, but always be doing the work. Speaking of which, just shout out to friend of the show, Justin Sane, up there at up at Graybell, up in Royston. Yeah. Picked up the Graybell Heritage Championship. I promised him I'd throw out some love for him. I saw it on social media. I was going to actually go to this show, but of course, it's a weekend, right? So I didn't get to get out there and see it. I think it was the UWF show up there. But I wanted to take a special shout out to him. He's a good friend of the show, and wanted to congratulate him on capturing his gold up there. So, look, that's everything that I have because I got super fired up about that segment. So I got to calm down for a little bit. So, yeah. So promos and stuff, man. That's just it's a hot button for me that I'm like, look, I know people hate the term sports entertainment, but entertainment ain't a bad word because kind of that's what you want to do for the fans. You want to entertain them.
Yeah, and that's what people pay for is entertainment. Okay.
I always joke and say if I want to see I want to see the best athlete wrestling, well, I can watch that on the amateur wrestling stuff on ESPN or Fox Sports 1 or. Mm-hmm.
Or MMA, if you want to look at legit, if you're that big a fan of combat sports, watch that.
Yeah. It's on every freaking week now. So, I mean, if you got ESPN Plus, you could watch it every weekend. So, between something, but anyways, any other stuff that you want to cover in the Georgia Indie Talk this week?
Was fun. This was fun. Hope y'all enjoy it. I hope to see y'all at shows soon. I'm getting over this bronchitis, and I'm hoping I can get out this weekend. So, send me some stuff.
Yeah, man. But again, if you're curious where your shows are, the Rob Rod Report, you can check him out on Facebook or check him out over on his YouTube channel as well. Make sure you subscribe. And so if you're especially here in the Georgia area, make sure you know all the shows are. But, well, man, that's all I've got. So, man, what's the old saying, brother? If I've got nothing and you've got nothing, what time is it?
It's time to tap out.